The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, callers, and advisors on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2026. All rights reserved.
Straight ahead tonight, what kind of sentencing can the 19-year-old driver of that fatal crash last Sunday expect? We talk about it. Meanwhile, the Bahamas Christian Council is asking for grace for the 19-year-old. I'll get the panelists to respond on that. And a look at that call for an investigation into BPL and claims of bribery. That's right. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, roll the doggone TP. With 5 counts of vehicular manslaughter now before the courts, attention is shifting from the investigation to potential consequences. As officials say, while every case is decided on its own facts, defendants convicted in similar multiple fatality crashes have historically received prison sentences. Linton Ritchie Jr. has the details tonight. They have it, then they'll let me know. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Beyond the Headlines contributors, Peggy Candace and Ellington Ferguson. I'm expecting Glenroy Pratt as well, but I want to say good evening to each of you. Happy Independence. Welcome to the show.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here. Happy Independence, Bahamas.
Good evening, Shanique. Thank you for having me once again. It's a pleasure to be here to lend my voice to the conversation.
Yes, absolutely. You all, of course, you know, a lot has been said. People with varying opinions on the kind of sentencing that 19-year-old would perhaps be given by the court. As you know, 5 people unfortunately lost their lives in that fatal crash Sunday before last, something that shook the nation. The way it happened, the way we saw it play out. Of course, we eventually saw a video of the impact and how severe it was, and obviously with the lives lost. Your thoughts? Last night we heard, as he appeared in court, that there is a 10-year maximum sentence for vehicular manslaughter. Now there are 5 counts. People are wondering, would that be 10 individual years meted out possibly? Exactly, to serve concurrently. And, you know, is he deserving of what many would see as perhaps a harsh sentence?
Good evening once again. I think we have to take into account that Attorney General, Mr. Wayne Monroe, spoke, and I think what he said was kind of suggestive to prepare the kind of sentencing that could happen. He spoke of a case of 2 vehicle murders in Grand Bahama, in Grand Bahama, and he said there was an 18-month sentence. And so in my head it's saying that the sentence is possible, sentencing is possible, and it don't have to be 10. 10 is maximum.
Yes.
So it can be less than 10.
From 1 to 10.
Yeah, 1 to 10. And so 5 lives, that was in the case that he referred to was 2 lives, but this is 5 lives. And so I suspect that there will be time served. We want to be sensitive and compassionate and all those things, but you also have to take into account 5 lives were lost.
This is again a very unfortunate situation, and I read in one of the dailies, Shanique, a long piece from the mother of the last young man that passed, and she really, really touched my heart when she spoke of she's not angry, she's not bitter, she said that she already forgiven the young man. And so this is a vexing matter for all of us, that 5 young lives were lost. And so we've got to mix our emotions and our feelings with some kind of compassion, like Pastor Mario Moxie said. I believe that it's a serious matter, and he may serve some time. I think probably maybe about 3 years he may get, but it's a very serious matter. He's a young man, like the rest of them. They were all, it's not that like he ran into another car, killed somebody. They were all together partying and having a good time, and the mother alluded to that. And it's unfortunate. People are hurt. People didn't like his reaction when they saw the social network. I still don't know how to read into those reactions, whether they were real, whether they were actually, he's still in shock, what's going on with him, because it's not normal reaction.
But one of the things that and I had conversation this afternoon with 2 individuals, and one of the things that we discussed was the adult involvement. The driver's mother, who admitted that she rented the car for him and that he was 19 and couldn't do it for himself. My question is she without responsibility? Because if we backtrack, without her renting the car and turning it over to her son, would it mean 5 lives still here? And so I personally think that she should be held accountable for our recklessness, her poor judgment. If you want to give your child a good time, there are many opportunities when it comes to those big SUVs you can rent to show them off. But it was irresponsible of her, and I think she should be held accountable.
Of course, very shortly, we will obviously be limited in what we say about this matter, because it is a matter that is now just been presented before the courts. And of course, in the Bahamas, once a matter is before the courts, we only report on what comes out of the court and that trial. And so this matter is one such thing. It's a sensitive issue and a lot at stake, a lot at play. I imagine a lot of information will come out. Glenroy, good evening to you. We were just discussing really the potential, and there was a story before. Unfortunately, we were not able to get to that story that ran just moments ago in the news. But the story talks about what is perhaps, and the Attorney General spoke to it, what potentially can happen in terms of sentencing. If you can just maybe quickly respond, and then we'll move on to what the Bahamas Christian Council is calling for. Unmute your phone. Yes.
Transpired, and hopefully, some good comes out of it. But I don't know what good can come out of the situation. Unfortunately, this is where it's at. I heard Peggy in terms of the mother being charged. I don't know what the law is relative to renting a vehicle, because he is considered an adult. If it's 21 or 25, then there's another matter. But the only recourse, I think, in that instance for the rental company is for them to deal with that from that perspective. But overall, it is a sad situation, and, the young man will face some time as a result of it, and hopefully he can regain his composure, get his life back on track. And there's always redemption because he's still alive. Unfortunately, for those others who've perished, it's just sad.
Life, huh? Always redemption. Meanwhile, though, as emotions, and you all even just hear on this panel, the different thoughts, of course, we are extending grace. I see this panel. But as of the discussions on that Shirley Street crash continue, there's an advisory body that's pushing for grace to be extended to the driver of the incident, particularly with the seemingly rough road ahead of him. We get this story from Rebecca Bain. To reset and start all over. Maybe that's what it is, because I know it's a short week. I know it's a holiday week. These stories just played. I don't quite understand. The Bahamas Christian Council is calling for grace, and someone mentioned that word right here a moment ago, to be extended to the 19-year-old. Ellington, it was you that said videos that went viral while he was in hospital, and perhaps some motions that he made that you feel as though perhaps he may have been in shock making them. But people's emotions are all over the place, understandably so. The nation is shocked and shook of what it is that that's taken place. And so your thoughts, you all, about the fact that as we move forward and watch this trial play out before our eyes, that as the Christian Council says, let's sort of watch it all play out with a measure of grace towards this individual.
Yeah, I think, Shanique, we got to kind of stand back, allow this to process through the court. I know everybody have had their say in social network across all platforms, in the news media and everywhere. Let's now let it play out. Let's see once this young man began to face this. He has a lot to face. These were not some people that, like I said earlier, he ran into or knocked down on the side of the road. These are all friends. The mother of the last gentleman that passed away said that they grew up together. They were all friends. I mean, they know each other. So right now, as it stands, we don't know what's going on the inside of him, whether it's disbelief or whatever trauma I believe that he is going through some level of trauma. These were not strangers that he was just picking up and speeding with these strangers and just driving them. These were all friends, okay, who grew up together, interact with each other's home and all of that. And so let's allow this to play out.
I agree. Let's wait on the courts. Grace could be less than 10 years for each count. So that will be grace there, but we'll wait to see.
Glenroy, I'm not sure if you are muted or what's happening.
Yeah, sorry. I think what will be held into account is the fact that the individuals all participated in the vehicle, unfortunately. And to some degree, there is some responsibility on everybody involved. Unfortunately, that they lost their lives. And that may be something that may be in play here. But we also have a tendency of allowing these situations to go with time, where, you hear certain things happen and then all of a sudden case just dissolves and nothing has happened because we are on to the next thing. There must be some accountability for this. And I hope that it is carried out in a way that is humane and also from a lesson learned perspective, because obviously other young people are watching, the nation is watching, and we just hope that the family finds some solace and some relief in all of this.
All of the families, absolutely. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Transport just released this notice that the Ministry of Transport, in partnership with the Road Traffic Department and the Royal Bahamas Police Force, invites members of the media. Here's what they're launching: One Life Too Many, a road safety campaign. It certainly is something that's welcomed, that is going to be officially launched tomorrow. Something that is welcomed, something that is needed for so many of us. I was driving, I think it's JFK today, and a guy on a tractor, you all listen to this, a guy on a tractor, handling and managing a tractor on a highway with his phone in his hand. And he ain't looking up yet because all he's doing is this, driving the tractor. So kind of doing this. And, Minister Lundy,
I saw that a few days ago.
Royal Bahamas Police Force, and everyone else and sundry, what you've got to do, take hold of this, of all of us. All of us, like seriously get very serious about this one life too many and enforcing the traffic laws and having the police more present. A tractor, you all heard that? That was real, a tractor.
I've seen it 2 days ago on the backhoe myself also.
Yeah,
And
quite.
so, yes, we've all
quite
got to,
disturbing.
Shanique, like you say, step up to the plate. And this is a good initiative that the road traffic and the government is coming up with. So let's hope that it comes off and we all participate in it. And also important, let's make sure that we all adhere to the rules of the road. And in the process of us adhering to the rules of the road, let's make sure that our roads are properly marked. I notice in a lot of places you go, the marking has erased from the road and the lanes are not clear. We need to make sure that people use the lanes properly. There are proper marking in the direction of the road and all of that. Road safety is very important. All of us plays a part.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, in other news tonight, the government continues to face mounting pressure to reassure Bahamians that there is an end in sight to the latest wave of widespread power outages. Energy Minister JoBeth Colby-Davis issued a release today promising a comprehensive update on the government's energy reform efforts. But despite electricity being restored to several communities, there is still no definitive timeline for full restoration across New Providence. The minister largely echoed explanations previously offered by Bahamas Power and Light CEO Tony Pratt, pointing to severe weather that affected operations at the Blue Hills Power Station as the latest trigger for the disruptions. But for many residents, those explanations are becoming increasingly difficult to accept, particularly after consumers endured another round of blackouts linked to ongoing generation and infrastructure upgrades. Colby-Davis has consistently argued that temporary disruptions are an unavoidable part of modernizing an aging power system. I want to know what you all think of that. I'll say this: it is vexing when it's Sunday was one for the books. We know that. And Leslie said last night, based on his experience and knowledge of BPL, BPL workers do not like to work with something called live wires. For them to go in and assess and make repairs and work on an issue, they have to shut the entire thing down. So he feels as though this is what prolonged the blackouts until they could have gotten their work done fully on Sunday. And I understand some areas were still out. Your thoughts on what I just read?
I want to say safety first in our messaging. We say we apologize first. We thank people, customers, for their patience, and then we say something like this: we will resolve the issue as safely and as quickly as possible. So who would want to work around live wires? Leslie? Question mark. Every time a BPL employee, a linesman, step out there, whether it's thunderstorm, whether it's electrical storm, they put their lives at risk. Every time they climb a pole, and I'm not making excuses. I'm saying it is saying what it is. Who would want to work on live wires?
Glenroy, I need you to jump in and help me out.
Jump in, Glenroy.
You know why? Because Glenroy.
It's like
I stood, Peggy, it's one host.
Go ahead.
One, thanks very much. Because if I signed up to do this show, and I figure I don't like makeup and dressing up, and I don't like stepping into what the show requires. What the dickens am I doing here?
That's not live wires.
So Glenroy, it's not live wires.
That is not
Leslie
live
said from
wires.
his days, Glenroy, and I'm sure it continues. These BPL workers have been trained in the Caribbean by international counterparts, but they refuse to do it. But this is something in 2026. This is what they're refusing to do. Aren't you properly trained and skilled?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? It is shocking that BPL lines
Pun intended.
do not want to work
Yes,
with
of
live
course.
wire.
Yes.
The fact is, that's like a policeman saying he doesn't
Doesn't
want
wanna
to
get
He don't want to
shoot.
use a gun.
No, he don't want to get shoot.
That's why he have a gun.
You know, the reality is, you will be shot at as a policeman, perhaps at some point in your career. That's a dangerous job. The reality is, if you are going to sign up to work at BPL and you are a linesman, by the name linesman, that means you're going to handle wires.
Not live
potentially
wires.
Live wires.
Peggy,
Not
Peggy,
live
Peggy,
wires.
nobody buying what you
I
selling
don't
tonight.
care what nobody buying,
what
but
you selling
I
tonight.
encourage them not to fool with live wires
But
for
don't
you
work there. Go sit down
ungrateful people.
because if y'all could make
Don't work for them. You're not worth
Go
dying
ahead, Glenroy.
over.
Finish your point. Don't listen now.
Live
Go ahead.
wires, I understand. Yeah,
You
live
say- you
wires, I
safely in
understand that
Odell.
may be a challenge, right?
You safely
But-
tuck
and I
away in
understand
Odell.
safety is paramount.
Gotta be
But the
careful.
reality is, let me finish. The reality is also though, If we have people there that are hired, that are supposed to be doing that job, and they are not doing that job, then they need to move off from the job.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
And
No
come to the
excuses.
safety of the of tourism.
Well, then,
Listen,
but Peggy, but Peggy, you all want to be paid. Peggy, you all want to be paid. Peggy, Peggy, you have spoken. Now let me speak as the host. You are making an argument that nobody's buying in 2026.
I don't care.
The thing about it is, if they wanted to work in a hotel, they could have go work in a hotel. You are working at a power station. Go and get the work done.
I know.
You cannot shut a whole nation down, a whole capital city down for more than 14 hours because you don't want to work with live wires.
I know the families of those men don't want them look with what. You all have anybody on the live wire?
Come over
The
there.
family
Come
of
over
those
there.
men
Find
don't want
another
them
job.
to work with live wires.
Find another job.
Leslie and Grand Roy go work with live wires.
When we come back, we will hear from F&M Deputy Shannon Dawn Cartwright. Shannon Dawn Cartwright talking about BPL. Stay exactly where you are. Beyond the Headlines is back after this.
Hey, it's your boy Charlie Bahama here at Superwash, Superwash's newest spokesmodel, and I'm here to tell you about Superwash's large capacity washers and dryers for all your big loads.
I know I see that Charlie Banana coming here just now.
Luckily it's also big enough for me to hide it.
I thought he was right over here where these large capacity washer and dryers is. They're big enough now to handle your big loads, you know. Yeah, like your comfort on your blanket. But just look at us. Somebody forget to turn on the dryer. Oh, stop! Help! You hear something? Yeah, that's the sound of clean. Superwash washes you, process you, and entertains you.
Here at CBS Bahamas and the CBS Pro Store, we believe in our prices. That's why we offer our price match guarantee. If you find any of our items being sold for a lower price at any of our competitors, whether that's online or in store, let us know about it and we'll beat the price right there on the spot. No one does it like CBS Bahamas. Learn more at cbsbahamas.com.
When the craving hits, there's only one thing everybody agrees on. Hot, crispy, Wendy's chicken tenders. Made to satisfy every bite. Whether it's served as a slider or wrap, it's always perfectly seasoned, perfectly crunchy, and always cooked fresh. From lunch with friends to family moments worth sharing. For chicken tenders you're gonna know by name, gotta be Wendy's.
It's Independence time again, and Grand Bahama Tiles is celebrating big savings with their 20% off store-wide sale. With new styles arriving, they have just what you need for your kitchen, living room, and patio. And the first 10 customers get an additional $50 off their tile purchase. Come on in July 8th and July 9th and enjoy big Independence Day savings. Call them at 352-7920.
Free National Movement Deputy Leader Shannon Dawn Cartwright is criticizing the government and the continued issue of press releases. He said it's too much press releases on the ongoing power wars. Instead, speak to the people. Cartwright is also slamming the most recent press statement from Energy Minister JoBeth Colby-Davis as he asserts that the Bahamian people deserve more. In fact, he called for the nation's leader to address the matter directly.
The Davis administration, from the beginning of its first term, and now into its second term, has been loud as it has lauded its energy reform policy as groundbreaking and transformational. Yet, as the power crisis rages and Bahamians suffer in our nation, we hear absolutely nothing from the Prime Minister. For days, Bahamian families and small businesses have sat without consistent power. By any measure, any standard, the state of affairs is unacceptable and demands a timely, adequate, and substantive response from Prime Minister Davis. Every hour of silence costs a Bahamian business money. Every hour of silence costs a Bahamian family peace of mind. The government works for the Bahamian people, so speak to the people.
Well, this Shannon on Cartwright, F&M deputy, says, listen, all those news releases and stories and on this total like just wash. They never communicated effectively and efficiently. The minister needed to come out and speak, and in fact, he said the Prime Minister needs to come out and speak to the Bahamian people. Your thoughts about F&M Deputy Leader Cartwright?
Where's my mic? Where's my...
Claire, why are you shaking your head? You're
mic?
Disappointed with Peggy.
That's my response.
Right? That's exactly the point.
Suck tea.
People are crying out and complaining about things that are legitimate. For example, we have these high excessive light bills. They are saying that the light bill is based on usage. People's patterns have not changed, but then you have double and triple the amount in terms of light bill. That's a problem. You're not addressing it. Then you turn around and then you have people who lost grocery items and food and all this other stuff. That's not being addressed. Some people have lost appliances that have not been addressed. And then you have situations where we just have these little flowery words. We were promised, we were told, we will be ready, we'll be okay. But yet we find ourselves in this predicament, and mom's the word. That's unacceptable, and that's why we have a right to stand up. But when we suck our teeth towards the Bahamian people's cry, that shows that we do not care about their cry, and we are not concerned about their legitimate concerns.
That's at Shannon Dawn. Don't mix it up, Glenroy. I know you got your spin to spin, but that's something was at Shannon Dawn.
Shanique, with all of this that we're going on, and power outage is not unique to the Bahamas. I mean, Baltimore was off all day yesterday. I mean,
Detroit,
courthouses, I mean, all businesses, courthouses, everything was just, they had to discontinue court. But my thing is here locally, I kind of don't like this whole idea of when these things happen that I see the minister or that's responsible for these areas out there speaking to them. I think the minister of the government, they are responsible, pass legislation, put these things in place. They cover these ministry. They will put out there, get these reformation and transformation going. We now need to have all of the technocrats of these different areas, the people that are responsible for these areas, the people that are working in these areas, the people who understand the terms and can speak to these areas, come, even if they come with the minister in a press conference, and articulate to the Bahamian people what is going on, what can we expect, why is this happening, why is that happening. We had the lightning strike, we have the other power outage. Let the Bahamian people know, and on a regular basis, because we have this ongoing work, make the Bahamian people understand step by step what is happening, why you're experiencing this.
I'll tell you then. Tony Pratt and Christina Alston, you all dropped the ball. Let me tell you what it is. Okay, first of all, keep us abreast of this energy reform that's happening. Everybody trying to point and whistle to find out exactly where it is. One, let's go to Sunday. You all had a smoking building that I've not seen any of you there in front of. One, to tell us the extent of the damage of the lightning strike, what was damaged and what wasn't, and therefore it took well after midnight for areas to be restored, and then they dipped again. You all did not communicate effectively with the Bahamian people to make us understand. I know BPL yesterday did something where they sent out a video like how the U.S. ambassador sent out something that is a produced little clip to send out. No. That's not good enough. Come speak to the Bahamian people. I don't know what you're running from because I don't think you can control lightning.
Exactly.
I don't think you can control the natural elements.
Get in front of the cameras.
If lightning struck one of the energy rooms or engine rooms rather, and you sit there all day and load updates to the stories of BPL on Facebook, I was looking around like, what the dickens? There's got to be a joke, a real joke.
This is such a, but the thing is, this is such a national crisis, right? You
It's
would
not
have
a crisis.
expected to have a major press conference in this vein. You would have expected the minister responsible. You would expect the CEO responsible. All of those individuals with the technocrats and the engineers, just surrounding them in a room, giving a brief discussion point or a press
breakdown
conference
of this
with
whole situation.
media and stuff, asking questions and so on and so forth. But everybody was just hiding and ducking and running.
But
whilst
Ellington,
the Bahamian
I'm sorry,
people
Glenroy
suffering in the
again,
dark,
and you are right,
looking
Ellington,
and
and
wondering when their power will be restored.
Glenroy, that was the shocking part. BPL was totally innocent in this instance in terms of any engine failure or
Exactly.
this was Mother Nature, and y'all couldn't speak to that? Y'all didn't jump ahead of it? All we wanted to do was be informed, Yes, it was vexing. My God, it was hot. But had you communicated properly, we would at least been on all of us together holding hands, trying to say,
each
come
other.
by here and hurry get the stuff fixed. But you all ducking and dodging and hiding and what?
Okay.
Glenroy, just shut up.
But we were
Glenroy,
told- we were told-
Your
listen,
integrity
Glenroy, stop.
would not
Peggy,
stand. That was
Peggy,
lightning,
when it's time for you to-
Glenroy.
Peggy,
That was
when it's time for you
lightning.
to talk,
That was like, I've
Peggy.
given you all time
No.
to roast BPL staff
Peggy, I
when
am
the
telling
CEO
you,
did
I-
a walkthrough.
Peggy, are you
But it
kidding?
ain't good enough.
You
But
guys,
so it's never
shut
good
your mic
enough.
off, please, because
Yes,
Peggy,
it's never
yes.
good enough.
Shut your mic
It
off.
makes no
because
sense.
I'm telling you,
It
when
makes
it's time
no
for you to
sense.
speak, you didn't speak.
Yeah.
I'm now speaking.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it made
So now,
no
here
sense.
it is. Of course it makes it.
You
You all dropped the ball. You all dropped the ball entirely.
Want to say what
You
they want
dropped
to say.
the ball
Glenroy would
entirely.
never stop
Peggy,
being a
can you
spinner.
please stop?
Yes.
I'm speaking. Okay,
stop.
now, here it is. This is a viewer. I agree with Ellington. Remove the politics from these very critical
Absolutely.
areas and issues that require expert response. And that's all we're saying. We needed the CEO and the chairman to step up and
Absolutely.
speak. You all didn't go and call the lightning down and made it create the damage it did. But speak to the people. This bunch of flyers and stuff you posted on the stories all Sunday. Like, number one, who's going to take the time and look at that? And then because it was 1,000 being posted, you lost track and didn't know what the dickens they were talking about, because here they were also updating Eleuthera. Nothing on the page of BPL. You dropped the ball. You
Big
fumbled
time.
it,
In
and
a
you dropped the
major
ball,
way. In a
and it's
major way.
disgusting. Do not service the Bahamian people that way. Speak to the Bahamian people and keep us informed.
Absolutely.
In an instance like that, you had the elderly, the
stories of the
youth,
public
everyone.
library?
Glenroy, be quiet, please. I'm speaking. You had people who are of senior age, people younger, and everyone else in between in misery on Sunday. And what you did? Posted updates to the stories on Facebook. Stories.
Not good enough.
Now, another comment that came in, and I'm trying to look for it. This comment says, so as far as Peggy is concerned, the time and money spent in training BEC workers on live wiring is a total waste.
No, it's not a total waste. But if your husband can risk his life for Bahamians who come here and roasting them for taking risks, then send your husband on the line. But I don't encourage anybody to deal with live wires. If Leslie wants to, God bless him. 70 anyways.
Former Prime
It ain't
Minister
really about the
Dr.
live wire. It's about the response.
Glenroy, you serving customers in tourism. You don't take no risk unless something drop on your toes. Thanks very much. You don't take any risk besides getting to and from work. You don't know the risks of live wires. I saw a man just with the sidewalk.
You taking this
Of
different
course,
now.
I'm taking
Former
it
Prime Minister
differently.
Dr. Hubert Minnis is also speaking. I don't understand what's happening. Why are you doing that? No, you can't do that. You got my people in the back there going wild.
Yeah, they
Dr.
wild.
Minnis is also speaking to the continued outages. He chastised the government's introduction of taxes to help facilitate infrastructural upgrades that still seem not to have been completed.
I feel sorry for all of us. Electricity costs continue to go up. Individuals are sweating. They can't sleep. People are keeping their windows open, hoping that breeze comes through, etc. It's disaster. Disaster for kids. They can't do any reading. They can't do anything. They can't watch TV, etc. It's disaster. When we were in power, we had no load shedding. We were faced with COVID. People were indoors. In spite of that, electricity, they burnt more electricity, but there was still no cost. We had the hedging. The government made noise about the hedging. We were exonerated. We were exonerated by IRCA, which said that that's the right way to go. And the government introduced taxes to resolve certain financial matters, but still, those were not resolved.
Saw last week, and you remember that the union president, Kyle Wilson, president of the BEWU, called for an investigation into bribery. He claims he was made a proposition to keep his mouth shut and turn his head in the opposite direction. Now, Kyle Wilson said last week that the chairman must resign. He called for an investigation into the claims that an independent source attached to BPL made him the offer of lavish trips and other gifts and monies just so that he can perhaps look the other way and not get involved in the ongoing energy reform and the rest of it. It wasn't quite clear, you all, exactly what Wilson was talking about, but a lot has also been said. Of course, social media, I don't know if I can actually bring it here, but other allegations then, I'll say it like that, other allegations about what Wilson is making at BPL in overtime pay. That has not been brought to the mainstream media, so I leave it right there. But a whole lot, when Kyle Wilson stepped out and called for an investigation, it certainly raised other eyebrows, didn't it? I don't know who I'm speaking to.
Okay, well, Shanique, this is a
That's
very
a question? Oh.
This is a very, very serious allegation from Mr. Wilson. We ought not to take this lightly, and I'm happy to hear that the government has jumped on this to get the look into this. Mr. Kyle Wilson said some stuff. He left a lot of stuff unsaid. This is very serious. What is taking place that out of the ordinary with this whole deal with BPL, that somebody will need to bribe him to not stand up for his members? What is going on? What are this particular contractor or contractors doing that is way out of scope of what they should be doing, that they're offering Kyle such lavish gifts and donations? This is a very serious allegation as we talk about the transformation of BPL and Bahamians are going through all of these issues. We need to get to the bottom of this. Kyle Wilson I think he need to say something else. He need to speak some more to this issue.
Kyle Wilson needs to come and speak
to
the
he need to be more plain.
Kyle Wilson, you need to speak to the Bahamian people. Do not drop crumbs
Speak
and expect
plainly
us to
and
follow
openly.
it like birds and pick it up, because it made no sense. I am wondering exactly, Glenroy, what it is that Wilson is talking about, that an outside source, somebody I guess who is engaged with BPL to provide some sort of service, had approached him some months ago, bribing him lavishly, I mean 6 figures, to keep his mouth shut and head turned in a different direction about what?
Yeah, this is some serious allegations, and I think that him knowing the consequences for bringing such allegations to the fore and not being true, I'm sure he recognized that there are some consequences for that. But for him to make these allegations, I certainly believe him, and that causes me to have some concerns. Who all are the beneficiaries of this, and what benefits would have had he taken the bribe that he is suggesting that was offered to him? Who all are involved in these scenarios in terms of even the business opportunities and the generation of wealth gained in this whole organization? Who are the beneficiaries? Is it somebody that's going to benefit greatly as a result of buying out and selling out the union members? And that is where we need to find our investigations, because far too often in this country, there have been, and I've been saying this, there have been a monopolized wealth gain structure that locks out the ordinary citizen, and only friends, family, and lovers find themselves in that circle, and they continue to gain wealth and amass it for generations unborn. And we need to change that so much so that the Bahamian people at large can enjoy the fruits of the land and not be sequestered or just be confined to this kind of concept that you are just with a handout, looking for handout, hoping somebody will give you a plate. The fact is there are too many opportunities that Bahamians are missing out on because corrupt practices like this flourish in this country.
And that is why Kyle will say, because he know there's an audience for Trapsy drama. But I'll say this one thing concerning the investigation. I hope that there is one, and that that comes to equity and are clean. And so when we investigate, turn over every rock. I remember requesting an investigation from Kyle and his union executive, still waiting. And so that comes to equity must come with clean hands. And if your hands ain't clean and you come to equity, then may the chips fall where they may.
Well, we'll be watching that. I did reach out to Kyle Wilson. I asked him for an interview. He didn't think it was the right time. I think, in fact, he has maybe a meeting, so he didn't want to speak outside of that meeting. But absolutely. Here's a comment: bribery is a criminal offense. That should have been reported to the police. Absolutely, he sat on it. He said he sat on it, and then he decided to write a letter to the CEO.
Then they start chanting, fire the chairman. Make it make sense.
BPL, BPL needs its own illumination. Absolutely it does, because it baffles all of us, exactly the protest that happened last Friday. And now it's Tuesday, and Kyle Wilson has gone very quiet. I've not heard anything else since Friday, and so we await to see exactly what that is. Well, you all know that Prime Minister Davis is putting on the table a consideration for members of Parliament to get an increase in salary. Well, former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis is raising eyebrows tonight at what he labels a questionable change of heart by Prime Minister Davis to increase parliamentarian salaries. Dr. Minnis recalled when he put forth a proposal for a systematic increase to MP salaries as Prime Minister in 2017, that it was rejected by members of Parliament, both the FNM and the PLP, including now Prime Minister Davis.
Are you saying that the salary changes will be done by politicians? Is it fair for me to make decision on my salary? Please, that's a joke. What do you think will happen if you're asking an individual, you determine how much you should get paid? That is a real joke. Only a fool would say he shouldn't get more. You have to be joking. Establish a committee just like the judges, a salary review commission. Take it out of the hands of the politician so that you have it legislated and everybody can see why the changes. It's debated after the committee reports. You cannot ask people to pay themselves and make decisions on what their salaries will be.
Now, Dr. Minnis, you should have established that committee when you were in power. That is why perhaps you were rejected. When we come back, the panel will respond to that and more. How much is a gallon of gas these days? Big on the Headlines is backward after this. It's
It's Independence time again, and Grand Bahama Tiles is celebrating big savings with their 20% off store-wide sale. It's Independence time again, and Grand Bahama Tiles is celebrating big savings with their 20% off store-wide sale. With new styles arriving, they have just what you need for your kitchen, living room, and patio. And the first 10 customers get an additional $50 off their tile purchase. Come on in July 8th and July 9th and enjoy big Independence Day savings. Call them at 352-7920.
Wealth should not only belong to a select few. At InvestStar, we believe the door should be open to everyone. We provide options for planning a better future. Our investment funds are designed to assist you in reaching your long-term financial goals. Let us show you how.
We all know there are ways we can help. Your help can go even further. Be an everyday superhero. Donate to Hands for Hunger.
Welcome back to Being on the Headlines. It's good to have you all tuned in. Just before the break, former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis said about the proposal and thoughts of increasing members of Parliament salaries that those parliamentarians in the House right now should not be the ones saying yay or nay. He says there should be, in fact, a committee that determines that, and I guess the committee will determine how much and when and you know, and then the increments and all this stuff. Peggy and Ellington and Glenroy, your thoughts on where Dr. Minnis, first of all, you know, he was rejected with that in 2017 when he tried it by parliamentarians. But your thoughts about what he is saying tonight on that?
Oh, wait, he must be forget. He must be forget. Because when you're in a position to make change and don't make change, after that, nobody cares what you're saying about it. I don't care what Dr. Minnis have to say about it, because Dr. Minnis was not only the Prime Minister, he was the competent authority, but all say. And he didn't make the change that he's now recommending to Prime Minister Davis. So Dr. Minnis, drop mic. Oh.
I agree with Dr. Minnis. That is there should be a commission. You should not be able to go and say I need to give myself more money. I kind of differ though, Peggy, when you talk about he should have been able to do it during his term. His hands was filled. I got to give him as a Prime Minister.
But he attempted to do that in 2017.
2017, the timeline. Ian wasn't tied. And then the storm came in 2019 and covered in 2020. This is 2-3 years from 2019.
Maybe yes, he should have attempted to do it. He didn't do it. I think it's something that the present administration should look into as they discuss this, and I think that's the way to go, really.
It'll be a fool's errand for any new political party or any party who would have just gained government to go and talk about salary increase. So the timing of 2017 would have been idiotic at best. The other reality is that I agree with what he said. There should be a commission for individuals who are looking to have a salary increment. Because the fact is, like he said, anybody who would say, okay, man, I need more money, and they will give them, and have the ability to give themselves more money would probably do so. So we need to make sure that it's done properly. And I also believe that had this government not spent all those millions of dollars on the consultants, which is like 60 million plus or whatever, you could take a couple million from that and give it the MP salary.
He will never let it go.
I mean, we were paying $250,000 to Roger Stone every month. I mean, and shucks. Imagine that.
Shanique, let me point out something to you that I found amazing, and I stand to be corrected, but I think they're linked. When the Prime Minister introduced that in the House and they talked about this raise for the parliamentarian, you notice what happened immediately after?
What?
You all remember with the public service insurance? Did you all connect the dots there?
Oh, yeah, everybody getting taxed.
So you're giving yourself some money and you ain't paying us, so they dropped the civil service insurance last week.
Yeah, I think that was.
I think that was. If y'all could pay yourself more money, y'all could pay us the money y'all owe us.
Yeah, well, the insurance
I believe
companies,
that had something to do with that.
The insurance companies say, "Hold up, wait a minute, hold up, slow up a little bit," and they made that big, bold move and statement. That was quickly rectified within hours, we are told.
I believe that's why.
I feel, and where do you each stand on that? I feel as though parliamentarians should be given an increase. Because you see, more is demanded and expected.
I don't disagree with that.
Now, we the public require more from them, and when they are paid more, given that increase, which I imagine still wouldn't be anything totally significant. But the point about it is, though, that's where we even hold you all more accountable. You see, we holding you. Why you think we are talking? We spend so much time talking about BPL because we are holding you accountable for what you said. So therefore, pay them. They have a lot more work to do. It's a lot more that's
Especially
expected.
mention was made about a member of parliament that's serving Michael. I mean, that is a challenge. You cannot go from Nassau and say you're going to Michael. You've got to go to one, maybe two, come back to Nassau, go to the next one, come back to New Providence, go to the other one. And so it is a challenge in some areas. And yes, we expect more representation. And so, yes, I think it's deserved once they apply it properly. But timing got to be very much a thing here.
We don't want to pay you more money and you finding out you still got these parted contracts and you still get money coming in from different places. We don't want that foolishness. We want you to be upright, do your job, and then leave with your head up and be having integrity. Do not be trying to monopolize, have all kinds of systems in place for you to gain wealth or the backs of the Bahamian people. And then at the end of the day, you still want to tax me for more money. You still trying to get your child a free education, all in the public poison.
Get the child free education, Glenn. You're just all over the place. I hope something sticks.
That part there is some heavy lifting. You know why? Because I imagine that was before independence. In terms of what exactly as you described. But let's talk, good news, Glenroy, and I want you to jump in first. If you've been paying attention to the pumps recently, you may have noticed what seems to be the beginning, oh my God, remember when we talked about this about a week and a half ago with Vasco Bastian, of a decline in the price of gas. Vice President of the Bahamas Petroleum Retailers Association, Vasco Bastian, is talking about the decline. He was asked whether or not consumers could continue to see the trend in the coming months.
I think definitely I can speak to what's going on. It's a direct correlation to the price of crude oil in the global markets has started to trend downward. So we are now benefiting from that decrease in crude oil on the global market. As far as predicting whether it continue to decline, I don't want to commit to that, but there's a high probability that it could. We ain't never seen no more $5 gas right now. No, don't try that. Not no $5. You might see between $5.50 and $6. We ain't gonna see no $5. I can tell you that much. No more $5. Those $5 they over. I ain't saying that right now. We don't control it, but so I don't want to speak to. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. But if it continues the way it's going, then there's a high probability it could. But you never know what they're saying. One little misstep in the Middle East or in that region, things could go back up.
We are obviously subjected to what happens internationally, whether, the markets, wars, and all the rest of it. I just wish we could take and I know the Bayesian dollar is maybe different than the dollar that we have, but Mia Motley is insistent, and this is something we'll revisit, is insistent that she will continue. In fact, Motley confirmed Bridgetown is holding the line on fuel and electricity prices even after technical officials recommended pushing the pump price from $3.72 to $4.20 per liter. A new constitution of Barbados is also headed to the cabinet within weeks. Okay, that's something different. But she is saying, listen, she is going to spare the people of Barbados right now. There is no increase. I just wish that we can stand in that regard. Bastian said the days of flat $5 per gallon are over here in the Bahamas. But we would love to enjoy that again because why not?
Shanique, I'm wondering how can he I'm wondering how can he just state that if the price of oil per barrel is continuing down at this moment, if it goes down to what it was prior to the start of this US-Iran war, why can't we see it? And we were there prior to that. So that kind of baffles me. Is he saying, regardless of how low it go, because they got this little more lift, they're not going to go back that low? I think it would be unfair to the Bahamian populace. We have our neighbors right here to the north. They touting that it's going to go down even more for the summer holidays and all of that. And we're saying that basically this is as low as it's going to go. And knowing that our fuel is cut even more when it gets here. Help me, please.
Hey, listen, Mia Motley is on a whole different level. I mean, and she looks out for her citizens and so on and so forth. But tell Vasco Bastian, we have been looking and we are trying to understand why is it that fuel cost goes up faster than it comes down when the barrel of oil goes down fast. The fuel cost stays at a snail's pace going down. Whereas the minute it goes up in terms of the barrel of gas,
you blink
oil,
and there's been a change.
Goes up right away.
Yes.
That's a problem. And we need to investigate how long it takes and the transition for that to happen.
Glenroy,
listen,
you need a degree.
Spring is my belief.
You need a degree in all things engineering, fuel related, and everything, every other intricate calculus in between there to understand about this, how they determine the price, how quickly it goes up. The minute a barrel of oil is something, then you see them saying, oh, we have to. Mind you, you wonder where the reserves that you all say you have in the nation.
Exactly.
And why is it impacted so quickly?
Mr. Vasco?
Yeah, we ain't for it.
Absolutely. Listen, I thank you all very much. Happy Independence. Of course, we're here tomorrow evening. But yes, we had to happy Independence to each of you. I thank you all, Peggy, Ellington, Glenroy, for being here this evening. I look forward to having you all right back here tomorrow evening. And thank all of you for tuning in. Thank you for participating. Thank you very much for your views and your thoughts that you are sharing and have shared as well. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.